Hi, Jenna. Good morning to you. My name is
Hi.
Nicolette. I I'm the creator for the podcast called You're Worthless. Read that again. Juxtaposition of your very soul. So I'd like to say thank you very much for actually saying yes to me. I through Podmatch, it was kind of difficult to get your timing, but you actually said yes. So I really, really appreciate that. And yeah, let's dive deep into our topic today. I'd like to share to the listeners a little bit about your introduction, and then later we're gonna give you some space and time for you to, share your story. Okay. So to everybody who's listening, we have Jenna Smith. She is the creator of the Re-Sourcing method that provides tangible framework for people to tune into their untapped resources in order to live a life full of purpose with deep confidence and self-trust. She is also an in-demand speaker, professional singer. Maybe I'd like to hear her sing a verse, a
No problem.
coach, and an author. Wow, she wears many hats in her daily life. So, Jenna, what were you doing before you got into all of the above? Like, could you, could you share with us?
Well, they all weave together because singing was my first journey into spirit. So I'm assuming we're having a soul conversation here just based
Yes,
on the title.
yes, yes, yes.
So,
Soul within, basically. Yeah.
yes. And so what if I look back, music, nature, I was raised Catholic, but where I felt spirit was actually in other places. And I just didn't know
Really?
that's what I was feeling. I just knew that felt made way more sense to me than the so-called real world.
Hmm.
Because I could see in the real world that people were, I could see from a very young age that something was off
Really?
with a lot of
Wow.
people.
Okay, okay, now this is interesting. Now you just piqued in my interest. What what's that thing, or what are those things that you felt that was is not right, something's off? What are
All I
those?
knew was that it felt off, and what I
Okay,
know now is that people don't know how to be at home in their own being.
right. What a way
And
to put
so
it.
they're trying to be funny and they're trying to be liked and they're trying to get it right and they're doing their job right and they're making their mom happy and they're making money. And I could
Yeah.
just see there was something off about that.
Yeah.
But I made it mean as a young child that something was wrong with me because
Because
I
you're
was
not
a kid.
conforming to the norm. Mm.
Yes. So what's wrong with me that I'm not doing this normal things?
Yeah. Okay.
So without the wisdom and life experience and all that stuff as a young kid, my only experience was I'm wrong.
Mm. Yeah. So, okay, I think we're gonna jump a from your passion and then to some of the questions that I have about self, especially. So, you said that you started off as in the singing line, right? And I see here you said how you wanted to become the next Celine Dion. Oh my gosh, I love
Yeah.
her. I grew
I
up singing.
actually work with her vocal coach now, Dr. William Riley.
No,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I
I mean, so
love how much
so
fun you're
that's
having.
I know. So that's the closest I can, get to Celine, just through you, through the coach, and
Wonderful.
through Celine. Yeah. Yeah, so how did you go from wanting to, I mean, I wouldn't say that you
I hear
want
you.
to change. Yeah, it's not like you want to become singer, because I know that you're still pursuing music. I guess
Yeah.
that's innate, right? And then
Yeah.
now you turn into becoming a coach for leaders and entrepreneurs. Like,
Yes.
what was the pivotal shift, that
Um,
moment?
I, it really was so being a singer, I didn't know wasn't that glamorous. So the music industry, the
Really, but they made it so wow.
they do. That's the shiny
Yeah, it's like
part that I
the
wanted.
Hollywood.
I
Exactly.
want
Like
that. I
I'm
wanted that. It's not what it
yeah.
is behind
No.
the scenes. So basically, especially in Canada, not to get too much into it, but once you have a record deal, like the winning,
Mm-hmm.
you're owned
Yeah.
by a company and you don't have any creative control and you don't actually make that much money per album. And you
No,
could actually
really.
find yourself in debt to that company.
Because of the commissions that they're taking, and then
Yeah, because if like that one album doesn't do well, now you're so it didn't look like a great plan. And then
right.
that's only if you get that record deal.
Mm.
I graduated, so I'm 41 now. I graduated from
Oh,
university
I
at
love how
24.
candid you are with your age. I love it.
Yes.
People normally that shy away from saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a little bit mid 30s," or
To
yeah,
me, I have earned 41. I've been waiting to be in my 40s since I was a teenager. I'm just like, yes, okay, I know who I am. I have a skill set. I have a career. I own my house. Like, and not like you have to do those things if you're 40, but it's just I couldn't do this when I was 16. Like the way that I can self-express is completely different now because I have all of this foundation. So to me, age is wonderful. Um, for me. So but when I
aging
graduated,
gracefully. Yeah, I
thank
love
you.
it. Yeah.
I think that a lot of that I do weight train and all those things, but I get a lot of good sleep. But I also believe that our spirit, and this is what drove me to want to do this podcast, because I like talking about how to put our spirit back into our lives and how to reignite and not have it be spiritual. It doesn't have to mean you do certain
That you
things
gotta
that's
embark
spiritual.
to the
Yes, you don't have
Himalayas
to
and
indoctrinate into anything. It's
yeah,
aliveness. It's being in tune and in communion and in relationship with the aliveness that is, and knowing that that's who you are, which
yeah.
in essence with your topic, if you know that and if you live from there, the ability to the opportunity to feel worthless isn't available. When you're in
Yeah.
tune with your spirit, you can't feel worthless. They just they're two different things.
Yeah, it's just not, they don't
They don't. They're
see,
like, and so
yeah,
to
they don't
me,
sit
that's
together. Yeah.
no, like, and so the only ability to feel worthless is if you're too subscribed to societal metrics and you've lost yourself and you can't find yourself, right?
That is
So
so
that
true.
was so to answer your
I
question
was
fully, the music industry didn't work for me. And then I found my way into personal training because I had to be the hot girl, right? So like I was in the gym all the time and obsessed with needing to be what I thought I needed to be, which led me to a career, which then gave me the freedom to do my psychotherapy degree when I was
Whoa.
26 because
Okay.
I didn't want to just do personal training. It's a wonderful career, but I just that was temporary wonderful for me. Taught me how to run my own business. Then I did psychotherapy. Then I was like, okay, I don't want to be like a therapist. Then that
Mhm.
led me to coaching before like this is in 2000 and this is like 2007 2009 now. Coaching, the coaching industry wasn't a thing, like this online thing. This wasn't, no.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
like it was kind of talked about on Oprah, and it
Yeah,
was
exactly,
like
exactly.
two coaches, maybe knew two life coaches at the time. So it wasn't a thing. And then I did my coach training on ontological coach training, which is very immersive and intensive. And so ontology is how you relate to reality and how I'm relating
Mm-hmm.
to myself, how I relate to others, and what I believe about it creates your reality. So it's creating change from like your,
Within.
yeah, like from how you relate to reality. Not just moving things back and forth, not just habits and mindset. It really is so much deeper. And then you use habits and you use mindset and etc. So by the time I was 30, then I now had like a career that was so random. It was so random. It wasn't like I'm going to do this. It was really just what's the next step? What's the
Like
next
some
step?
download. And
Yes.
then you said,
And
okay, I needed to
so,
do that.
people think, oh, you had so much clarity, and they project on me that I had clarity and confidence about the whole thing. I didn't. I just did what was in front of me.
Hmm.
I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea where I was going. I just knew what I didn't want to do. So that led me to this career, which I love, because between psychotherapy, which we really need, psychotherapy is therapy, like how to emotionally heal, how to look at your family patterns, how to manage your mind, right? To a minimum, how to actually feel feelings and use
Yeah.
them. And then the next step is to use them as energy and use them as intelligence, which is
Mm-hmm.
in the book I'm writing. So how I got here was by following, like, what's the next step? And I get, not everyone knows how to do that. They just, because there's hearing the noise of all that. And then how do you know what that next step is? Because a lot of people will rush to the next step, buy the next step. That's not their soul. That's their,
That's
I need to change
that's
things now.
true.
I need to leave what's now to get
Yeah.
here. I wasn't doing that. I was just doing what was in front of me next.
That resonated so much with what Oprah used to say. Like I had to be very, very still and figure out what it is the next best move that I need to do. And then you create the next best move and then you move.
And then you
Oh
focus. Yeah.
yeah. And then you focus. So what do you think are the common problems of people today in terms of how they see or believe about themselves? Like I know we talk about this just now, but what do you think are the common problems? Like societal norms, metrics,
Oh my God.
comparison.
Well, the number ones, they don't see
Oh my god.
themselves. And it's
I
like,
love,
we could talk about this all day.
oh my god.
It,
Yeah.
the fundamental problem is they don't see themselves. They
Mm.
don't see themselves.
So what are they doing now? They're seeing others and then projecting them to themselves. Oh, I gotta be like that.
They're seeing programs. So I should be skinny. I should have this. I shouldn't be whiny. I shouldn't be this. There's so much judgment and
Mm.
preconceived notions that we subscribe to. And then everybody's so busy trying to um, worry about what other people think, construct who they need to be in the world that day, whether it's conscious or unconscious, that they're not actually there. And they don't even realize everyone else is doing the same thing for the most part. And then every so often you meet this weirdo person who's just happy being who they are, even if they're grumpy. So it doesn't mean you're just freaking doing cartwheels all the time. Like being your true nature could mean a myriad of different options of your true nature. It doesn't have to be that's another program, right? Like extroverted and outgoing people think, oh, I should be that way. No, like maybe you're just that calm, quiet one, and as you
Mm.
own that, it
Yeah.
becomes magnetic. And but people don't know
Mm.
that. So I like using nature as a teacher. So the
Okay.
trees don't compare branches. They're not like, oh, that guy's branches are bigger than mine. Like they just grow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
So, like, to me, it's like if people could knew deeply that they were enough and then they could make mistakes and then they could be in grumpy moods but come back faster and come back to who they really are. If they could do that, they would relate completely differently. They wouldn't have the addictions, they wouldn't have a lot of the pain that is caused from all of this
Mm.
flailing from not knowing who they really are. And it's not their fault. Like it isn't, everyone is just trying to survive.
That's true. So I want to link back to that thing when I read your introduction just now, you said about untapped resources, right? So what are
Yes.
these untapped resources that are innate in every human being?
Your
Please.
body,
Okay.
like your
Yeah.
body is here and it was free. Like, you can have a conversation with your parents about that. But we all have a body
Mm-hmm.
and we are in our heads. And the body's sort of this annoying thing that you have to feed and sleep. And so people that are in their heads too much really don't have a connection to the intelligence of the body, where your instinct lives, where your subconscious mind that
Mm-hmm.
processes 40,000 times faster than the conscious mind.
That's so
So it's a
true.
good
Yes.
tool. It's handy to process intelligence 1,000 times faster than the cognitive mind, but that's where we default to is intelligence. That one small analytical mind, like that one
Which
small
is,
part of our
yeah,
intelligence, left brain, cognitive frontal lobe, right? So,
yeah.
so the decision making analytical only, but the body gives us that holistic intelligence of presence and instinct. And so when we can tune into the body, we can, I call it your bullshit meter. I don't know if you're allowed to swear on here, but so your BS meter. So it's your ability to know someone's lying to you. It's your ability to
It's like
know
gut
it.
feeling,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like literally your an intuition is woven through your cells and
Mm.
can speak louder than the noise because it's a sensation.
Then the
It's a
actual truth, yeah, that's
then
in front of
whatever
you.
randomness, whatever ad, whatever someone's trying to sell you, whatever dating, if someone's dating and the person's
Yeah.
lying, it's the part of you that's like ding 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 ding. There's
Hello,
no
you sure? Yeah.
information, but you know to trust that. So
Yeah.
the body is a resource. The body is also where you digest emotions. You don't
Mm.
actually process emotions in your head by thinking. So it's
No?
a resource. No.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay.
You process by feeling. And so thinking and feeling are two different things. And so if you're thinking and
Hmm.
thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, that actually um drains your resources. That overthinking actually drains your energy because it's
Hmm.
actually you need to just feel, but no one's been taught, not just, so I don't want to
Yeah.
simplify or make this sound easy,
Easy.
but
Hmm.
it is simple, but we haven't been taught it, so it is going to feel impossible to some to feel
Yeah.
your feelings to completion, to actually feel deep sadness, let it move through your body and come out the
Yeah.
other side not broken or not crazy, right? That's the fear.
Yeah.
Or I don't
Exactly.
have time for that. I
And
have 4
then
kids, right? Like people don't know how to feel feelings, but the body is the key.
because I mean, in and often when they are faced with like some traumatic events in their life, then only okay, that's the light bulb moment. Okay, am I what's happening now? Like
Yeah.
it's like you're so far away from your true essence of yourself, but then
Yeah.
when something happens, like okay, shit, what do I have to do, right? And
But the problem is people don't have the resources when that's the something happens. That's when they
mhm,
have less resources.
but because they've already drained their life force, which is
Yes.
well, like you said, your body and everything.
And your heart and your spirit. So the 3 resources that we tune to are our body, our heart, and our spirit. And
Mm-hmm.
then we train the mind, taming and
Mm-hmm.
training the mind so that it then becomes a resource as well. But right now, most people are mind dominant. So their mind is, in fact, draining their resources. And that's where the burnout and a lot of mental health is.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion,
Depression,
a lot of mental health is actually mind dominance.
mind dominance. Yeah.
Over,
Then,
just
then
over in the mind. And I'm not minimizing, but there is actual biochemical mental health that people like actually need, like the medical intervention, and then a lot of it is just lack of resources, lack of the body, lack of the heart, lack of spirit from societal norms. The
mm-hmm.
Myth of Normal. Gabor Mate wrote this great book
Mm-hmm.
that I met him in Toronto in 2013 for a 4-day workshop, and
Yeah.
he talked about writing this book back in 2013, and now the book's out now. So it took him that long to
10
really
years.
get it out. And I think, I don't know any data about this from him, but I would say it's just such a big undertaking to say, look, we're having a normal reaction to a toxic system. So
Mm.
nothing's wrong with you. So I think when you say the worthless thing, it's like
I'm
nothing
not
is
enough.
wrong with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not enough.
are. You're just trying to win at a game that's set against you. And you know, we've just been um there's so many layers to this about how we've gotten here, and our you know, like my mom and my grandmother couldn't even get a
Childhood.
loan,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
so everyone has just been doing their best, so we want to build on all those amazing things from our ancestors, but also society's like goals of consumerism and everything like that. Like that, we really need to start waking up. to find our own happiness and to not be so easily manipulated that you could buy the thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. So, what are okay, so say you have three people coming to you right now. What are the top three tools that you actually teach your client first?
Yeah. So, so now we've got your body, your heart, and your spirit, right? So
Yes.
the spirit is everywhere and it connects and it speaks your language. So like
It's eternal. To me, spirit
spirit
is
will
eternal.
start
Yeah.
to come in. It's always there. It's ever not
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
So by getting the body online and the heart. So heart breathing is
Mm-hmm.
when you put your hands on your heart space, which is right in the middle of your chest. And then
Chakra.
you, well, it's good not to think of it as the chakra, but just like, think of it as just like a little kid who's like, just felt something and then they go like this, like
Yes.
something just so
Touch.
primal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like that you just grab it or you're like, oh, you're so moved. It's
Yes.
you watch
And you're
anybody,
moved.
they'll just do it.
Yes.
So, they're all connected, but I like to call it the heart space versus chakra because then it's its own space. It's the space of space. It's not a concept that people
Mm-hmm.
can get locked into and get too in their mind about. Just side note. But just
Okay.
this space where it's not your physical pumping heart. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually just this space here in the center between your lungs. And it's nice to think of your lungs as like these pillows of air that are bringing your attention to this space. So it's about your attention. Your attention is your power. And
Mm.
so we can
Your
focus
attention is
our
the power.
attention at will and we can train our focus. So anyone that's like, "Oh, I can't focus." No, it's trainable. So it's like a mind muscle. So we take our focus and we feel the hand, right? So now we're feeling, not thinking. We feel the hand,
Mm-hmm.
and then we breathe and feel the space underneath the hand. So the only thing to do, because you can't get it wrong, is to feel the space under the hand and breathe and notice. And if like it takes a while, if we're in our mind a lot, we can even imagine taking an elevator down from the mind, like the mind is here. So now our attention's coming down an elevator, down, 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 and then we can kind of feel it land. And then almost you're so in that heart space that if you were to open your eyes, that you're looking out from your chest. Like your attention and your focus is so in the heart space instead of here.
Mm.
And so we practice that to just bring the focus, feel, bring the focus, feel, bring the focus, feel. It's not glamorous. You're not going to feel like one with the universe right away, but you're creating vibrational muscles, just like push-ups, just like running, just like eating broccoli, any boring thing you do that's good for you. You're feeding that heart space. And then it's a resource that when the thing happens, you now have that resource more online.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a big
Okay.
tool. Just feeling the sensations in the body sensation, feeling is the other one. So that
Okay.
they go together. The other one would just like feeling your feet. Don't think
Okay.
about your feet.
Oh. Okay.
Feel. So you have to be
Really.
curious, right? So curiosity is like a superpower. Like it it gets us out of needing to know and being on time and that's just curious space. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious, how do my feet feel right now?
Hmm.
The only way to know is to feel them. So
Yeah.
sometimes when my clients are really, really in their head, they're like, "Oh yeah, my foot hurt yesterday because I was walking too long." I don't care about yesterday. How does your foot feel right now?
Now. Yeah.
Right. So still see how easy the mind wants to come in and answer the question. They're like that kid in school that's like always wants to know the answer. They always want to be relevant. And
Yeah.
so that's a cute thing about the mind, but we're like, no, right now we're feeling the feet. So you have to be like a loving parent to your mind in a way. And so feel the sensations all through the body, feel your arms. I didn't make any of this up. There's so many places, body scanning and yoga, but the problem is so many people are mind dominant doing the yoga. So many people are mind dominant doing the body scan, so that you have to feel, experience sensation. What's the temperature? what's the even rhythm. Like sometimes I can feel like, okay, what would it feel like if I could feel blood? What would my bones feel like if I could feel them? Right?
Yeah.
Like the curious. And then
Yeah.
you, like a little
And then
kid,
like
you
how,
kind of go,
oh, you
I
really
don't
kind of
know.
be in tune with it. Like you can, sometimes you can even imagine or train yourself like you can feel the red blood cells running through you. Like
Yes.
as a kid, I used to like wonder, what is this? And once I knew like how it looks like, it's like that round thing. And then in science class, oh yeah, what does it feel for it to actually go out? But then of course you get me, um, yeah, being so absorbed with thinking here. Yeah, I was that before. So it's only
Yeah.
recently that I've come to appreciate and really come back in. To be honest, I'm still learning. The reason
Of
why
course.
I want to speak to so many people is to just hear what they have to say about these things.
Yes. Yes. And then the other one is journaling. So journaling helps. If you go to my website, that's where I have a journaling, sort of like, here's how to journal and here are some prompts. But it's a technology to weave your resources together where you're in your body writing. Your hand is
Mm-hmm.
connected to your heart chakra. So you're right that the heart chakra, like these energy systems are very powerful and worth knowing and working with, but the hand is connected to that. So you're writing, don't type. Actual writing ideally
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to look good. Doesn't, who cares? No one's going to see it. If you write something personal, rip it up, throw it out. It's not a diary. It's just the process of integrating,
Mm.
journaling down. Um, and so as you're writing, you're slowing down to the present moment with the mind. And so you're starting to train the mind to be here. So people get frustrated that they can't write as fast as they're thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
I'm guilty of that too sometimes.
allow the slow,
Mm-hmm.
allow that rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
and let that train you into the present moment, right? Versus
Yeah.
this should be fast. Why?
Yeah, this should because like and I
Why
tend
should
to
it be
blame
fast?
myself. Why am I not writing as fast as I was back in like when I was 17? Like when you're in an examination hall, you gotta commit that 3 hours, okay? But now you have so many things coming, but it's like my hand is like, yeah, but I'm enjoying the flow right now. But again, the mind coming in and attacking
Yeah. And it's
whenever I want
okay.
to be present. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay to also feel crappy at the same time as you're noticing that there's actually some cool feelings here. Oh, and I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
You can be both. And so this
Okay.
desire for, you said, like, what are things people are doing, this toxic happiness, and everything should be happy and good vibes and high vibes, and we need to embrace everything in order to have those high vibes. We can't
Pick and choose what we
elbow
want
out
to. Yeah.
the other human experience because they all have wisdom. But when
Mm-hmm.
they take over, yes, it becomes really hard for, and I see it as a therapist, I see people struggle. I've been there. Like, we didn't get into that, but I've been through a lot of trauma, and I've been through I'm not this
That's
perfect person that came out this way, but I've been through having so much shame. I didn't even want to leave the house. Shame meaning you don't believe you're good enough, right? And you don't
mm,
think that thought. You just think, I can't possibly go to the grocery store right now. Like you're just paralyzed. So I
yeah.
know, and now we have this nervous system conversation where people are talking about your nervous system, where the effects of your physiology of like not being motivated and all of these things go together. So I've been there. So these tools help bring the resources up so that we can deal with these challenges. It's not that we don't have the challenges. It's
Yeah.
it's to get resource to deal with the challenges.
So let's take a step back since you mentioned about this traumatic event. Actually, I wanted one of the questions was that like if you had to choose an event or events in your life where you when you were at your lowest, what were those times and or what was that? And maybe you can walk through the how did you pull yourself out of it?
Mhm. Um I mean, a big moment in my life was when my brother was a bully, and so I also, my whole family was very chaotic, but he very intentionally, like 3 years older than me. I was about 9 and he was so we're like 2.5. So anyway, he was like a younger teenager and I was still a kid, like 8, 9, right? Where you're still a kid.
Mm.
And he would bully me and just call me names and all these things. And I just didn't leave the house one summer. I just didn't leave. I just stayed in my room, and I would get food and I'd go back into my room and I would watch TV, and I just didn't leave the house. And my parents were so checked out. They just thought, oh, that's just our kid being like, they didn't.
They're being playful with each other. They didn't know that it's gonna affect you up until your
Oh,
adulthood.
they were just checked out. They just weren't even, they
They
were just
just
in their own
weren't even
drama and trauma
present.
that, yeah. So it was like, no
They were
one.
absent,
So
basically.
yes, completely. So, and I've talked to my mom about it since and everything, but that set me as like a deep shame, that deep shame
Mm,
of not wanting to leave the house, not wanting to be seen, but not even knowing what it is, right? And then you have to go to school. And
yeah.
then when you have that deep shame, you become, okay, well, I guess I'll be the good student, and I guess and I was singing, so I'd be praised for singing. So I guess I have to do
Yes, and
these
you're seeking
things.
validation and other things to make
Yes.
to compensate yourself for whatever
Yes.
it is that your brother's calling you or making you
Yes.
feel about yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that was a very core moment, like a origin moment, right? And then after my dad committed suicide, I was actually finished.
Oh, I'm
I was
so sorry.
29. Yeah.
Okay.
It was this weird time because I actually had gotten all these resources and I had this great community. And so how did I get out of it? So when I was a little girl, I didn't really get out of it. I just kind of survived and went to school and coped and all the things. But as an adult at 29, I actually had already done my psychotherapy training and was in the middle of finishing my ontological coach training when this happened.
Mm.
And I went into like, I was like half in survival, or I was like 70 to 80% in survival as I was trying to
Reach that
be
equilibrium with that
be in the
spiritual
world
or
and like start a
yeah.
company and be normal and pretend I'm fine. And so I was bridging all of my things I'd learned and sort of challenging them, and in a full on trauma state of dealing with insurance companies, dealing with my bully brother, who like I was just really challenged. And that was when I did my second psychotherapy training. So I was
Mm.
trained with indigenous wisdom through shamans, and that is like that connection to nature and direct path to spirit, just my entire soul aligns with that, and that you could be taught in your dream state. And I am like, that makes sense to me. So shamanism. So I went to Ireland and I went to Peru,
Oh my
and the
God.
three
My
shaman.
next question. Did you try ayahuasca?
Well, and this is the thing. So when I say shamanism now, one, you're kind of not supposed to, because it's a sacred name, but it is also a lineage. It is a spiritual practice of
Right.
that I hold with such high esteem of
Okay.
anyone in their origin tradition and their wisdom teachings. So, but for me, it's much more like just listening to spirit, just listening to how spirit talks to me. And then that brings me to Peruvian shamanism or different teachings and mentors and things that we come together. So ayahuasca, plant medicine, is great. It's also another thing that people are grasping.
Yeah.
If I just
Yeah.
the truth is that you should be called,
Two.
like called
Right.
and
Cool.
called to it, like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a sense of knowing, but people don't know how to feel the knowing, so they just do it because someone else said they should do it, or because someone
Yeah,
did it.
because this is gonna flip your life
So,
180.
but it's
Yeah.
also an opportunity to get out of the mind, but it can be a very, it can be an amazing experience for people, but for a lot of people, they don't have the resources.
That's
Um,
true.
it can be wacky. So it's another path to spirit, but you should have other paths to spirit that you should have. I'm tuning into my heart. You should have, I'm walking in nature and feeling like you should be creating a relationship to spirit. If you want to do plant medicine, anybody listening, start to create a relationship to nature and spirit now, then do
Hmm.
the ceremony. You'll
Right.
be much more equipped, and then keep with those habits, because that's where spirit will talk to you. It isn't this one
Yeah.
boom moment.
Yeah.
It's
And
supposed
then
to
you
be
go there
integrated
again.
into life. And so I say many rivers to the same ocean. Like, everybody needs to just listen and follow, and everything. I welcome all things that bring you to spirit. And spirit works that way, and that spirit speaks your language. So if you feel spiritual when you're knitting, because you're
Yeah.
like a spider weaving,
Yeah.
then do that. Don't make yourself wrong for what lights you up. And what lights you up is your spirit. So
That's so
so
true.
don't make
Yeah.
it so complicated or special, like special ceremony with a special shaman. Like, just let spirit come to you in your world as your world exists, and let what lights you up be what lights you up, and do more of that. That will be your
Beautiful.
path to spirit. So for me, shamanism wasn't about plant medicine. Plant medicine now, when I do it, it just enhances what I already had.
Yeah,
To
exactly. It's
to
just a
connect, to go beyond the veil of the mind. I was already
yeah.
like that when I was a kid, dreaming and being a creator and a singer. Like,
Imagining.
I was
Yeah.
already doing all the
Yeah.
things, talking to animals. I'm like,
True.
I am
True.
a Disney princess. Like, these are all my life stories. Like,
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah,
yes,
I think you just brought the perspective back. That's so true. Like, since we don't even need to wait for it, because we already had it.
right
Since
here now.
we've always been a dreamer. Gosh, oh, we've forgotten about a lot of those things now.
Yeah. But to quickly answer, that's when I did my second psychotherapy training. I came back from Peru. Three
Hmm.
shaman were like, because energy is beyond the mind. So they could see in my energy that I needed to work on my lower chakras. I needed to do more trauma healing. Everything's
Right.
good. You're on your life path. You're listening to spirit. Cool. But your lower three chakras need some work. Three different, or I think
Hmm.
it was like three or five. Like, it was evident that I needed to bring some attention.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was like, I would love to do another training in like PTSD and addictions, and like just heavier, more complex psychological things, because I didn't feel confident as a psychotherapist in those areas. So then
Right.
my
Was that
psychotherapist,
did you feel like it was gonna trigger your own, like your
nope,
own
I
experiences?
just felt literally like, confidence is like lack of skills, right? So Um,
Mm,
so just by the way, worth and confidence are different. So like, I felt totally able to help, but I didn't feel like I had the skills. So the confidence required
oh,
more skills. So that's where I'm like, oh, okay, I want to do a psychotherapy training. That psychotherapy,
right.
that my next teacher was literally 5 blocks from where I lived in Toronto, starting her
Mm,
program in 2 weeks. And that's how most of how I've done things. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. I let people know, hey, I want to do a psychotherapy training. Hey, I want to do a psychotherapy training. And then, oh, I know. And we're also in community. So we also, the other thing, problems with society is this, I have to do it myself. But we're a community
yeah, it's like
species.
that's so true. Yeah, we were born to be in tribes. We're meant to connect, and where do we connect? Community,
Yes.
people.
But don't leave
Yeah,
yourself for others. Like,
that's
so
true.
we're meant
Yeah.
to be here. Okay, hey, in my wholeness and in my curiosity, I'm going to do a psychotherapy training, and then it's all a feedback loop. But we're meant to be in community, and that's the other resource. So the book I'm writing now is about your body, heart, and mind, those resources. But the next resource is
Wow.
going to be you. Yeah, this book is
So
taking a while
I
to
did
write,
take
by the way.
so I
It's
did ask the right question. So I'm getting the sneak peek preview of what your next book is.
Yes, this is what I talk about. But the next step that it will be weaved throughout this book is your relationships, is how to be you in the world with others. So once you're
Mm,
resourced, now, so with my clients, once they get resourced, they come to me because they're like, everything I'm doing isn't working, but
yeah,
I know there's something more for me. Okay, cool.
it's always that thing. There's something more. I
Yes,
just don't know what it is. Yeah,
yes.
it's
It's
always
you,
that.
by the way. The other thing
Yeah,
is you. And I
yeah,
help people
yeah.
come get that, and then they can do anything, right? Because you're not seeking, you're not leaving yourself. You're like, I call I call it tuning humans. So my next brand is tuning humans. So tuning humans, because when you're finally just, here's who I am, and here's my body, and here's my heart, and they know how spirit starts to work with them. You'll start to see it work with you. It comes to you. Once you find you and you're like, I'm good here, and you just keep doing that and keep doing that, spirit comes to you.
Yeah.
And so tuning humans means like you're not broken. Nothing's wrong with you. Just boop, just boop, like
Just
come back.
tuning it, like tweaking it, like, yeah, come
Yeah.
back.
But to all of the resources you already are, to what is already here now, the wholeness of who you are now, which is, to your point of your podcast, can never be worthless because you're alive. Like the fact that you're breathing means you're not worthless.
You matter. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So your website's landing page was just talking about being intuitive, right? So what is the difference between intuition and regular thoughts? People often say use your heart, but not so much your head. Okay, we just talk about that. But how do we know when to be logical and how do we know when to follow your heart and be intuitive?
Aha. Well, see, there's a lot of assumptions in all of that as well.
Exactly.
So, so
Yeah, that was me actually
those are
talking and
great questions and great assumptions, like the assumption of what the heart is. And so what I'm going to say about that first, though. So your intuition, your intuition is one, you have to get into the body. And so to discern, well, you have to slow down. So let's say I'm coaching you. Let's just do you.
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's say I'm coaching you. I'm like, okay, you get irritated when you can't write as fast. Well, take the time to write slower and write, what am I not seeing right now? What am I not seeing right now? We'll bubble up the stuff from your mind that's keeping you from seeing truth, because intuition will just tell you the truth. And intuition will also just tell you what you need to know when you need to know it. So if we need to know everything right now, your intuition might just turn off and just be like, we're not going to play with you because it's not serving you. Your spirit will never give you things that are not in your highest. And
oh,
usually
that
what we
is
want,
so powerful.
it'll never. So you can have a question, but it won't answer you because it loves you. Like it will
Yeah, I
guide
love
you
that.
in other ways in random moments. So watch for the random moments and write them down. So to grow your intuition, create an evidence journal. Oh, I had this thought and I thought to bring the umbrella, but it was sunny out, so I didn't bring the umbrella. It was dumb, right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
what happens? It starts
Five
raining at
minutes and
4
then
p.m.
yeah,
when you're about to go from the grocery store to the thing. The intuition is beyond space and time, and it will talk to you through beyond space and time. So if you're not there, if you're just like, thoughts are like ping pong balls, right? And they're questioning and they're doubting, and intuition isn't noisy
yeah,
like that. It will find ways to get to you that aren't
yeah,
the noise, through a show you're watching, through the podcast you happen to put on, through something your friend says randomly, like through, like, life spirit will talk to you through whatever will get through. So that's the answer, is that your intuitive voice isn't really a voice. Like it is life talking to you. It's like life texting you sometimes too. It'll just be like a boop, like, message. The mind might want to add noise to it, but often it's like a impulse. It's like oh, I shouldn't go to this thing, or
yeah.
whatever is going on.
That's
But
right.
it's like
Like you
always there.
promised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always there. Your heart, by the way, is misunderstood often as emotional.
Yeah.
Like passion is misunderstood as
Yeah.
love.
Exactly.
So
Oh
when
God.
people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I was listening to my heart," but they were really just listening to their want, what they
Um,
wanted to happen.
woo, I think a lot of people feel that.
So don't confuse it. Because your heart might actually say, no, that's not for you. right?
Again, I'm getting called out here.
Okay.
No, but this is what I want to know.
Perfect. So to answer your question, your heart is very neutral, and it will everything is already whole and complete. So if you think you need something to be whole and complete, it won't support that either. But it will bring you back to being whole and complete. Like, let's say if someone's dating somebody, this is where, like, matters of the heart, literally, right? Where we get really personal and we're like, oh, I need you to like me. I get this way too. I act like I act like a little kid, and suddenly I'm 11, but I'm actually a 41-year-old woman, but I forgot. And I'm like, I don't know how to talk right now. So we have to like own all of those humanness. I call it our humanness, right? Like, just these, we're not always going to be on. I'm not always going to be Jenna, the spiritual teacher, coach person. Like, I'm a human woman living in the world with you. So like, matters of the heart get messy because I'll tell you this, there's your heart space, which is everything's already whole and complete. So you don't need that person to be more whole and complete, or even for love, because you're already love.
You're already love. Yeah.
But you might want companionship, and that's very honest too. I might want to have more fun. I might want to have sexual things, like, that's all in the realm of desire. That's all amazing to want and have. But if you want the thing, because that's the only way to get the thing, is through that person or that job or that dress or that. I get obsessed about things too, like, oh, I need this, and then I'll internet research it and and not go to my spirit and be like, do I really need this? Yes, because my ego is like on a tizzy, and so none of that's wrong. It's all part of the human experience. But
being human,
so to own being human is spiritual. That would be something I would want people to know, like your whole human experience, and noticing it and coming back, and what do I really want here? What would be me at my highest right now? How do I really want to be in these next 2 hours when you're in an ego flare up?
Yeah.
Coming back faster, being able to stop, but own the whole human experience, because that's actually how life is teaching us and healing us at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we were talking about like being confident, right? So how, I don't know if you ever had moments where you were not confident before, but what are these steps?
Just yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Like, just yesterday. Oh, really? Just yesterday. Okay. Yes. What happened?
I don't even. I was working on a song, and it just wasn't going well, and so yeah.
Yeah. So what are the steps that anybody should do or can learn to be more confident in basically areas of their lives?
Yeah. 100% keep your promises to yourself. So your self relationship to me. So when you say confidence, I think people with a strong self relationship are confident. And
what do you mean by that?
I know, I will explain. So if somebody has a strong self relationship, they know what makes them work, and they keep promises to themselves, and they do what makes sense for them. They do what works for them. They treat themselves with esteem. So when people say self-esteem, it's a moving target. Am I doing the things gently in a non-militant way that make me my highest expression? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I drinking enough water? Am I doing the things that make me function at my highest? And confidence will extend from that self relationship naturally. And then you're just free to make mistakes. You're free to be wrong. So confidence has to come from humility, and that you're good enough. So worth as well. Like, It's
Yes.
okay to get that note wrong. It's actually encouraged. It's consistency. It's not, confidence isn't
Oh,
sexy. It's consistency over time. It's stupid small decisions daily. Boring. No one on Instagram's watching you make these micro decisions. You're
yeah.
watching you. You're you. So that self relationship to me grows confidence. What habits make me, not someone else. Because we're in community. Oh, that person's trying this thing. Let me try that on, like a dress, like
Mm.
jeans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it kind of fits. I'm just gonna do it once a month though. Okay, cool. But you know what
Mm.
really works for me is like, so for me, you can, if anyone here is there, just like DM me or email me. There's the well-being checklist where I write down the 10 habits every day that make me me. And so I have a certain amount of sleep, certain how I keep my environment clean. Because when I get lazy, I'll not do the dishes or I'll leave this, and I'm not doing it to be Martha Stewart. I'm doing it because it keeps me in tune.
Yeah.
So I know the habits and I've practiced them. Like how much water, writing. Do I write every day? Not anymore. But like really, the honest truth is I do write every day. It's a sentence here or this or that. The things, the habits that make you more you, the walk in nature that's 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be 60 minutes. The breathing techniques that are 30 seconds that don't have to be 15 minutes. Like people have this all or nothing thing, but just start to
Yeah.
experiment with what works for you. And as you do those things, you will feel more confident because you're going to build that self relationship, and you're going to build that self-esteem and self-trust, so that it's not contingent on. So people think confidence is about other people, it's not. It's that I can fail in front of you and be okay. Maybe
Mm.
bruised.
Mm.
Maybe
Yeah, maybe
bruised,
bruised or
but I'll be
broken, but I'm
okay.
gonna be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real
I'll live another
confidence.
day.
Yes, yes, yeah. So people think it's this thing or it's a personality type. People think I'm confident. Oh, you're so confident. How are you so confident? I'm like, I get it. But really, the confidence they're seeing now is I don't think about it. I am just being me. I don't need you.
Yeah.
I don't need to change me in this moment. Now, sometimes I do get insecure and I will feel like I need to
Yeah.
change me in that moment. And then the key is to watch that.
Mm.
Come back, bring it to your journal. Why did I tell that person that thing? That was so weird. And don't try not to judge, but just
Mm.
notice, oh, I was really leaving myself there. I really thought I needed to be
Yeah.
smarter. I really thought I needed to be cuter. I really thought I needed to be dumber. Like, how did I need to change for that situation or person? Come back and stop it. Just don't do it anymore.
So it's more in essence it's just about being in yourself, like knowing when to like really walk. How to maybe not walk. It's like when you actually start seeing other people or outside it, and then your mind's racing, and it's just okay. Is it not associating yourself with that thought, and then coming back, being like you said, maybe breathing, like that's
Yeah, you
the
would do
focus.
all the things,
Yeah,
like come back, breathe, be like, "Oh, wow, I noticed I was a little off there," and then explore.
yeah.
And not need to get it right or wrong, just explore. And this is the thing, your resources will start to grow. That wisdom, that self-coaching, so many people will just come, the answer will just arise and like, oh, okay. Not needing to get it right. So confidence is like there's knowing who you are and being that in the world. And that's what's so intriguing and magnetic about celebrities and stuff, because they've done so much work to be that magnetic
Yeah.
that they wouldn't be there. Then there's
They
skill. So,
hadn't they worked
right.
on themselves? Yeah.
And then they do the thing. And so now they're putting you, like you see Brad Pitt, look, he's beautiful, blah, 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 blah. So charismatic. the hours that man has put in, that boring crap that he has done day in and day out. Like the most sexy people are just boring. Like they're just do boring things regularly to
Consistency. Yeah.
curate their craft, and then that's the shiny. That's the and then you do the hard work that just means consistent regular work so that you can, like in a song, you learn the notes so you can then fly and just go be in the moment and share and tell a story and not think about the notes. Most people are so stuck, like, so if they were a song, they're so thinking about the notes all the time that they don't get to the fun part.
Yeah.
Which is singing, which is the magic,
Idea
right?
of singing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really boring to watch a perfectionist singer. Someone who's trying to get it right is boring to watch, just by the way. Like,
That's so true.
yeah.
Like I was interviewing another guest, and he was like, it's like late Michael Jackson was a perfectionist, and then Prince is the more on the artsy side. So he was like telling me, like, okay, if Michael, it was like, oh, I gotta get this right, bum 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 bum, just like Bruce Lee. But then the other one, it's like, yeah, I'm feeling this way today. Let me
Right.
do my concert.
But you need
Yeah.
both. So like Prince
Yeah.
would have the brute. So like, it's interesting because like, so perfectionism, Brene Brown does a great job of making these distinctions as well. But perfectionism is when it starts to be like, to me, perfectionism strangles out that magic part so that you've done all the reps, you've done all the steps. So if Michael's done, well, right, he is mastery, all those, he does have both things. But when it starts to crunch in and strangle the magic, where suddenly it's just steps, getting it right, versus the steps as a vehicle for spirit and magic to come through. And that's what it should be, right? And then so Prince being a creator more than a technician, which is what makes people super magnetic.
Yeah.
That is what's moving through him. That is unencumbered, that
Mhm.
creative flow. So perfection will only, I was just writing about this, about like your ego's motivating you, your ego motivating you about being the best, being better than that person, or I'll show them, is actually an amateur. That'll keep you amateur because it'll just always be just about getting it right. And then people with mastery, it's about the gift, it's about the full on, it's about, like Serena Williams playing tennis. Like, just like, it's
Yeah.
just,
Oozes
that's
out
why
of
we
it.
go watch it. We're just
Yes.
like, what is happening right now? Like, that is why, and we all want that for ourselves in some way.
That's true.
And you look at someone like a Serena Williams, like born into that family with the dad, with the, you know what I mean? Those conditions, that
Yeah.
those resources,
Yeah.
her sister doing it too, the community, then all the challenges, the racism, the things like going into white people world doing tennis. Like, it's amazing with
Yeah.
all of that, like primal, unencumbered human energy that's just like busting out through tennis, through reps and reps and reps of boring work. But then you can do boring things like in the Karate Kid, like he's like wax on, wax off. You could do boring things. However you decide to do the boring things, that's when you're doing from being. So you can actually,
Doing from being. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Become
boring.
human
Sometimes
doing instead of being. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Sometimes I go for a walk just because I'm like, Jenna, I'm just like a walking a dog. I'm just like, I need to take my human body for a walk, and I walk it, and it's boring, and I don't really wanna, and I'm better for it after. And then other times I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh my
Yes.
God, like,
Yeah.
right? And so you can't ever really plan for it, but you do it anyway. Yeah. So, I mean, the confidence is interesting that way because people always say I'm so confident. And I'm like, maybe it is just a soul essence thing too, being a performer. And there's a certain energy we all have that we emit to other people. But I think it's because I don't need you to like me. And in doing so, well, I want people to like me. It's still insecure about it. But I don't need you to like me. And I think that creates a freedom for other people to be themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
right? It creates this like space where like that person could be more themselves. And in doing so, they feel better. And they call that me being confident, but it's really they feel better in their own presence to be themselves. And so it's something I've noticed, about what people think is me being confident. But I'm like, you actually just feel more confident being with me because I don't need you to be a certain way.
Mm, yeah. You're allowed to be yourself when you're near me. It's like, but I see through you that you're confident. Beautiful. So if you could tell one people to change their lives, what is it? I think we talked about it just now, but then if we could bring it back.
I mean, the so-called simple thing to do is to know that nothing's wrong and nothing's missing, and what you need will present itself when it's needed. So learn how to listen
Listen. Okay.
with your body, with your heart, like listening on all levels. Thinking is one way of intelligence interacting with you, but I think it's more about listening.
Okay.
And don't take it so freaking seriously. Like life is alive,
Yeah.
right? And we talk about music, it's a play. It's called playing music. It's a play. And people are
Yes.
just so serious.
Yeah, it's like
Most of the time.
yeah, playing guitar. That's why, like, yeah, you should be playing.
Yeah.
Should be experimenting, just like what you said, experimenting, and then
Experimenting.
in that experiments, you're also playing because you're trying things in life, and that's the beautiful thing about being alive.
That's life.
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah, watch animals playing.
Exactly, and for that reason, you're worthy. So Jenna, what keeps you up at night, or do you sleep well at night?
Netflix keeps me up at night. Or my cat.
Okay, I got
my cat that comes and wants to cuddle at like 3 a.m. I'm like, okay. I not a lot. If anything, it's just my inner child being a brat and not wanting to go to bed. I'm not, oh, what's the word? I'm not haunted by a lot these days. Like I'm not. And I think the closer we get to living in harmony with spirit and trusting spirit and knowing that we're all connected to spirit, that's our safety. That's our safety. That's it. Like I can do that because I have entrained and done the connected to myself and then followed the steps so many times that I can just know I can go to bed and I'm okay, and that whatever arises tomorrow, I've got this. Yeah, like that. And that actually, honestly, that's a whole other level of confidence, is like when you're just like, I'm connected to spirit, God, or however you relate to spirit. To me, the word spirit feels like spirit. So I use the word spirit. And so use the word that works for you. But
yes,
that, like, and it's so much, there's so many traditions that will, in the Bible, like when you walk with God, or if you know who you're walking with, like that say that. But so to answer your question, every so often I overthink about what I should have got done or not get done, or my inner critic will come up.
Yeah.
If I do something really embarrassing, that will keep me up as well. But for the most part, not a lot. Not a lot.
Yay. Okay. So, if you could create or have a quote right now that you could leave to the audience listening and to the world as, a legacy by Jenna, what would that be?
Your purpose is to be you.
Beautiful. Enough said. Your purpose is to be you. So listeners,
there's a lot to unpack there, but that's the quote.
Yeah. So if people were like skipping this podcast to the end, they just want to know, okay, what's the takeaway? And then they would have to listen to the whole podcast, okay? Because we talked.
That's the point. I'm like, actually, like, it's not a self-explanatory quote. I guess the second quote that has more self-explanatory would be, you're you're
But
not
I
wrong
like
and
that
nothing's
quote.
broken.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
I do
so
too. But
many
like,
layers in it. Like,
yes,
oh, it's so intrinsically woven into yourself. You, what was it?
your purpose
Is to be
is to be
you.
you.
So many things you can unearth from that. Like, if only know, like, if you take the time to sit and ponder, your only purpose is to be you.
So get to being you. So each day, does this habit work for me? Does this bring life to me? Does this drain life from me? And just micro observations, journal, tune in, listen, and then your life entrains with you. It's not as hard.
Yeah.
Then it's not as hard as when life starts to entrain with you and you start to entrain with life. All that overthinking and efforting and working hard in the wrong directions, you get to reclaim that energy. So yeah, so your purpose is to be you. Yes.
Beautiful. Well, Jenna, I think we're good with time.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good. I had extra time, so I wasn't worried. But that was a great conversation, and I enjoyed your questions and your humility and what's the word? Transparency in
Oh,
the conversation.
oh, thank you. I really enjoyed the session. That I like the part when you said you're enjoying this, which I am, and yeah, and I like the people when they see me. It's like, Nicola, you laugh so loud. Like, I don't care. This is me.
Yes.
Yes.
Laugh loud. My mom has this loud laugh, like I can hear her across the room and know where she is. It's like a beacon. Like, oh, my mom's over there.
Yeah. So it's a really beautiful conversation, Jenna. I really learned a lot from you, and
Amazing.
it's the whole idea of me talking to all these guests, and every single time another person comes in, it's just sometimes it reaffirms what I was feeling before, but I just wanted to see if other people are feeling the same way, and then you feel it in your deep core, your soul, like, okay, yes, you are in that direction.
The confirmation versus I'm gonna sing for you because I don't want to leave you without saying, because I said I would. But confirmation versus validation. Validation is like, I need this sign to tell me what to do. Confirmation is like, I already knew this. And now I really know it. Go for more of that. So this just made me think of, I just watched the Whitney Houston movie,
Ah,
and
haven't.
so the theme, I haven't sang this song, so this is my super vulnerable moment because I haven't sang this song in years, but I figure I'll just do a line from it. From The Greatest Love of All that Whitney sang. Okay. Let me go. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me.
Can I hide myself? Oh, Jenna, what did I deserve to get this?
Aw.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna, I'm gonna clip this out, and then
Can you
I'm
please send it to me? Actually,
okay.
because it's amazing.
Okay. I'll clip it and I'll send it over to you as well. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Jenna. So, Mario, we can sleep better tonight.
Yay.
Sorry, there's my cat. He's just looking at me like that. What was that, Mom? Oh,
Aw.
that's so beautiful, Jenna. Thank you so much. I feel so moved. That's one of the moments where I said, yeah.
Thank
I felt
you.
I felt. Oh my god. Thank you so much, Jenna. So I followed you on Instagram. And yeah, it'd be nice. Maybe next time I can invite you for another episode. Maybe we'll talk about different things.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to know you. I'm glad you enjoyed the singing. It was really fun to
Yeah,
watch.
and this is more like a conversation at the same time, therapy as well as coaching. So it's like everything is woven in and beautiful. I another friend. I gained another friend from another side of the world. Like we're 12 hours apart, right? So it's like 11.
Yes.
That's yeah, 12, 12.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, so get a good sleep, and it
Okay.
was really fun chatting with you.
Yeah. Thank you. You have a good day too.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye
Bye.
bye.